Welcome back, Sci-Fi fans, to the Science Fictionary Podcast. I'm Andrew. It's just me here today. So I think there's going to be a lot of that coming up. So Marisha's been busy with some work stuff. And so just to kind of get into kind of what we're going to be doing here in the future. And I know I talked about this probably almost a year ago, and we really haven't been around much. Some of you are going, oh God, he's back. And some of you don't have a clue who I am, but we're back. There's going to be a lot more streams. They're going to be shorter. We're going to do a lot of stuff here on the YouTube channel. I'm going to be talking to David here this week, I hope, about bringing back the audio podcast as well. Really want to get that going again. I hope to see David here on the YouTube channel some as well. So we're just going to have to figure out where we're going as far as that. I'd kind of teased a late week kind of news desk show with Robbie coming back to the show. Looks like that's going to be on hold for a little bit as far as him returning. I'm going to try to do something on my own. Marisha will be around for a show or two a week, most likely, except when she's on a job. Other than that, she'll be around for some bigger shows when we talk about things we've watched. I think this week we'll probably cover Agatha. She finally managed to finish that, so we will be talking about that. But I'm going to be doing a lot more of these on my own, so bear with me as I adjust to the idea of doing some of these by myself. That's not really what I was expecting to do, but it has become apparent that if I want to stay consistent with the show for myself, because if I don't stay consistent, I just don't do it. So for my own sake, and for those of you who do actually for some reason tune in to listen to me ramble about stuff, we're going to be around, at least I will be around, at least 4 or 5 shows a week. Like I said, some of those are going to involve other people. Some of them are going to be just me. They're going to be a lot of different lengths. There's going to be some short shows. We're going to start doing more stuff with actual shorts. We're going to work our way back through the Pillars of Sci-Fi with a shorts series on YouTube. A lot of stuff coming up, but it's an exciting time. There's a lot of stuff that's been out that I'm still anxious to talk about. There's a lot of stuff coming up soon. Just, I guess, this weekend we got new trailers for Captain America 4, which I guess is Captain America Brave New World, and for the Thunderbolts. So I'd love to hear what y'all have to say about those. I know there's a lot of things being said in negative, as far as negativity about Captain America 4. I wish that surprised me more than it does, but I'll be honest. I'm hearing one thing, but when I'm watching the trailers, I'm really enjoying the vibe that I'm getting off of the trailers for Captain America: Brave New World. I actually didn't mind the show. I think Anthony Mackie is very good. I mean, obviously, you were going to get some kickback when you made someone else, when you passed the title of Captain America to someone else, and maybe they shouldn't have passed the title. They could have given him the shield without passing the title. The bottom line is I don't think it matters at this point. It's done. Let's see where it goes. Let's see what kind of story they tell. I really enjoyed the show right up until the end. That final episode, that real preachy moment that I've heard described as an after-school special, it reminds me of when bad faith-based movies take a total aside at some point in their movie to share the gospel, which I appreciate the sharing of the gospel, but you just ruined your movie. You just ruined the whole flow of your movie. And also, like, most of the people watching your movie are Christians, so maybe don't do that. But that's what it reminded me of. It was just like, where is this coming from? It's preachy. It's pretentious. It just didn't belong. We could have done we could have told all of those things through story. We didn't have to have this speech at the end that was just a bit much. And while I don't feel like it ruined the show, it certainly sucked the wind out of the sails. Um, but I'm down with the movie. I'm anxious to see it. Harrison Ford as Red Hulk, can't wait. I just hope that it's not over the top preachy. And depending on what they do, like a political thriller is one thing, but how real world are they going to decide to go with it is the other. Thunderbolts. I'm just beyond excited for Thunderbolts than I've been for any movie in a while, or at least any Marvel movie. It might be a train wreck of a story. I don't know. We'll have to see when we get there. What it is going. It's got a vibe. It's going to be fun. It's got a good cast, and so I think that it's going to be a fun show or fun film. But whether or not it is a good story, that's yet to be seen. But I'm really excited for Thunderbolts. I'm cautiously optimistic about Captain America 4. The biggest thing that makes me nervous about Captain America 4 is the constant reshoots. I think there's even been some talk that maybe there's reshoots going on now or soon. And we're real close. I mean, we're just a few months out from the release. I believe that's a February release. So I want to take a minute here. So as we kind of relaunch the podcast, kind of try to get this thing going again, I just kind of want to reiterate something here. Partially because of, as I tried to kind of kick the show back off again recently, the Acolyte absolutely took the wind out of my sails for wanting to do this. And so it was important for me to take a minute and reflect on that. And before I keep going, I want to say something. One, I don't get political on this channel. It's not about a shying away of sharing my politics. I don't mind sharing my politics at all. If you want to ask me, you can find me on Twitter. You can send me a DM, whatever. I don't mind talking politics. I'm not shy about it. But I don't like doing it here because that's not what I want this channel to be about. I've never wanted this channel to be about it. And I avoid it except for on rare occasion. I know some of you are going, well, I just listened to what you had to say about the Acolyte. It was political. I don't really think it was political per se, but I know that some of those are really important political footballs to certain people. So yeah, I got a little political about the Acolyte, I guess. And that's kind of the point I want to make. Like, I'm not going to get political here, but sometimes the movie, the TV show, whatever it is, chooses to drag me into it if I want to talk about it. And that's what the Acolyte did. I chose to do something I don't normally do, and I dedicated a whole episode to just kind of talking about all the things I hated about the Acolyte. Specifically, I didn't even talk about the show. Like, the show, I really didn't like it. I think it's poorly written, poorly executed, not entirely poorly acted. There were some good actors. The lead was terrible. Just wooden, lack of personality. You can get mad at me and call me what you want, but the girl can't act. And I chose to do my final review and just ignore the fact that the story was poorly written and talk about some of the aspects with moral relativism, which was heavily preached throughout the series, but specifically hammered home in the finale. That left me no choice but to talk about those things because I feel like those things are dangerous. So that's a case of, I really don't like to get political at all here, but the subject matter kind of dragged me in. But all that to say, if you're unfamiliar with my channel, if you're new here, or if you've stumbled across this and you haven't really watched us a lot before, I am not a film critic. I'm not a television critic. I understand critique. I did quite a bit of learning critique in college. Like, I'm not, it's not that I can't do it, it's that it's not what I want to be. Like, we do critique on things we enjoy here, and I will tell you when I don't like them. So it's not that I'm not doing any critique. I try to do fair critique. I'm going to try to find things that I like about things that I don't think are good. But I'm going to spend way less time on things that I don't like, and therefore I don't think that makes me necessarily like someone you should look at as someone trying to be a film critic, because I'm just, if I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. I'm going to tell you why, and then we're going to leave, and we're not going to come back and talk about it again. Not typically. Sometimes sometimes there's a reason to come back and discuss it, but I'm going to spend way more times on things I enjoy, because that's why I do this. I do enough things throughout the day that I don't enjoy, that when I come and sit down to talk to y'all and talk about things that I love, I'm going to focus on the things that I love. And that's kind of been one of the hard things lately, is that, man, I love Star Wars. I think you can look at the shelf behind me, and some of these things are new, and some of these things are things I've had for years. Star Wars is, it's been a constant in my life, my entire life. My dad introduced me to Star Wars when I was very, very young. And I did the same, introduced my kids to it, and my nieces and my nephews. And, Star Wars is something that has been a constant in my life. It really isn't fun. Like, I'm not going to sit here and get excited about doing a review of something that I think is terrible, or in the case of The Acolyte, something that betrays George Lucas's Star Wars, what betrays the spirit of Star Wars. I'm not going to get, that makes it really hard to get, one, I'm not going to get excited about doing negative reviews. I want it to be good. I want it all to be good. But that's one of the hard things lately, is that Star Wars, Lucasfilm just has not given us a whole lot to get excited about. And I hope that's going to change. I hope there are wheels turning. They're going to head us that way. But, there's news. We've got some odd news with this episodes 10, 11, and 12 announced, with the former X-Men writer whose name I can't remember, and I'm not going to look it up right now. He did precisely, I think, one good movie in Days of Future Past, and then he was part of doing a really, really poor job of the Dark Phoenix story twice, as well as a couple other, mediocre to bad movies. Not necessarily the guy that I would have been running out to get. However, I will say that at least they went and picked someone with filmmaking experience. That's been one of the problems with some of this stuff, specifically TV shows, is running out and grabbing people that don't really have much experience with making films, making television, especially on this level. That's kind of what they've done with this, all the things we've heard so far about the Rey movie is, the person that's running that, not necessarily a person I would have picked. Pick somebody that's got some experience and knows what they're doing. And I'm not saying you got to go get Spielberg, but there are plenty of names out there who have done good work. I mean, gosh, there's so many guys, and they are, in fairness, I was about to say, go pick somebody up that did early Marvel stuff. And in fairness, the guy that did Spider-Man is, Watts is doing the upcoming Star Wars series, Skeleton Crew, which I'm actually really excited for. I know some people are saying, oh, it looks like Goonies in space. And I'm like, you say that like it's a bad thing. Like, when did we talk about things like the Goonies and act like that's bad? Or just Amblin type stuff in general. I love the vibe. If the idea of suburbs in the Star Wars universe is where you have chosen to finally draw the line on what you can believe in a galaxy far, far away, then maybe it's just time to move on. But really excited for that one. It may end up being terrible, but I love everything that I'm getting from the trailers. I love the whole Amblin vibe that it's giving off. And it may not work. It may be way more geared to children than we would like. We will see. That's kind of one of the beauty of things like the Goonies is while they are, yes, stories for children, they go well beyond that. And frankly, like children's stories should be. Sometimes we talk about children's stories like they have to be dumbed down, that they're less valuable, that they're not good. But the truth is, like, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, like, that's not true. Like, these children's movies were fantastic. And, even going back and listening to people talk like C.S. Lewis talking about, children's stories have to still be something that can be enjoyed by an adult, or it's not, it's not a good story. Like, granted, I have young children. I'm not totally out of touch there. Yes, there are children's shows that are, bad. They're not meant for anyone other than the children. But those things are usually things meant for very, very young preschool age children, or they're just bad. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you there's not bad stuff out there. There's not, but I'm just saying, just because it's made for kids doesn't mean necessarily that's being used as an insult. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, especially in the Star Wars universe where we have gotten way too caught up in the dark and gritty. You can check out my review of The Acolyte and hear me talk a lot about George Lucas's thoughts and inspirations for Star Wars and why the thought of making Star Wars for kids again, it doesn't bother me in the least. Let's see what else. So coming up, I will do a full review either with Marisha or without. I'm not sure yet, or maybe with the Padawans, because Padawan Report's going to be coming back as part of all this as well as I do believe that the older two Padawans are going to be starting their own podcast. So we'll have to see where that goes. And I will keep everybody updated on that. But we're doing a full review of the trailers for that. We will be sitting down. I'll be sitting down with Marisha and maybe the Padawans to do a review of DragonCon this past year. It was absolutely fantastic. It was so good to be back. Always glad to be in Atlanta for DragonCon, and can't wait to go back next year. But we'll be doing a review of that. We will be doing weekly reviews of Skeleton Crew. And then hopefully from here on out, at least with Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff, we will be doing our weekly reviews. We will be doing some sort of weekly review, I hope, of Dune Prophecy, the new Dune TV series. The trailers look good. I don't know. It's one of those things that's going to be Dune is cold sci-fi, and whether it works in this format or not, we will see. And depends on what they decide to do with it. It depends on what they decide to do in this format, just because they can get away with it. I will be doing some sort of review on that, and I believe, unless plans have changed, that I will be doing a watch party for that show on Comics Ann with Danny. And so, yeah, I'll be posting links to that when we get ready to do that. So please join us over there for that. Oh, I can't even think what else. I know Deadpool and Wolverine, we've been away, so we haven't covered that. So I will be talking to David and see if we can get together and do an audio episode for the podcast of a full review of Deadpool and Wolverine, as well as anything else we've missed. I kind of got to go back through. I mean, to be honest, the podcast kind of got away from me at the end of last year about this time. And I tried to bring it back a couple of times, and it just, early in the year last year, I just kind of experienced massive burnout with everything I was doing. I was running this channel. There was a lot going on with just here personal life stuff. Uh, Hunting season had just wrapped up, and I had devoted an awful lot of time to that last year to the point where I kind of burned out and didn't even want to go back out to our property to do any more of that. And some of that was with also running a channel. I have a YouTube channel following my hunting stuff. So if anybody wants that, I don't know that there's anybody here that's going to want the link to that. But if you do, shoot me a message on Twitter and or drop it in the conversation below. And yeah, I'll send you a link for that. But um, I just kind of really burned out, and then I just could not get back around to doing this. And so I've missed it. I'm glad to be back. I plan on being here a lot more the rest of this year. Normally, I take a break over Thanksgiving and Christmas. From about Thanksgiving until the end of the year, we usually take a break with just our Festivus episode thrown in there. But I don't think I'm even going to take the break this year. We may slow down the holiday weeks, but with what we're trying to do here with doing some shorter stuff, we're going to be back a lot more. There's a lot to talk about, lots of good stuff. Can't wait to talk about this with y'all because this is an absolutely fantastic film. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't have a full list of everything that is coming up. I will be talking to Nicole about finally doing some Muppet stuff. I'm not going to make any promises because I don't know how busy she is, but I do still want to do those things, and I do while the weather is nice. We finally gotten into our nicer time of year here in Mississippi, and yeah, I'm going to make the trip up to the Jim Henson Boyhood Home Museum and check that out. I'm trying to think what else is coming up. Oh, Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim is coming up, and we will be doing a full review of that when we see that in December. I can't wait. I'm still a little. It's going to take some time to get used to the idea of the animation style, everything that's going on there. I hope my audio hadn't just been blowing y'all out the whole time. I just realized how loud it was. But we will do a review of that for sure. I'm not sure if there's anything that y'all want to see us review. Shoot us a message, drop us something in the chat here. Like I'm going to be around a lot more. I'm open to suggestions. Let's see. December, we will be doing our Festivus episode. I will keep you updated on that. We will be looking for guests for Festivus. If you don't know Festivus, you need to go watch the Festivus episode of Seinfeld. It's what we specifically will be doing here. I don't think we'll be doing any feats of strength unless Ro has something. So, Ro, if you want to do some feats of strength on the YouTube channel, just let me know. But otherwise, we will be looking for guests for the airing of the grievances. That could get interesting this year. Let's see what else. If you are a member over at Force of Light Entertainment, if you're a member on their channel, I did a members only video with Michelle over there on sort of on the Acolyte, but really more about the kind of the spirituality in Star Wars. So that was a good episode. That was a lot of fun. Always, want to say thanks to Michelle for having me on for that. So if you're a member over there, go check it out. And if you're not, they have a lot of members only content. So go check their channel out. Unless they're not live today, they usually are on Monday afternoons at I think 5:30 Central. So if they are going live today as usual, they should be going live in about an hour. So go check them out at Force of Light Entertainment. Yeah, lots more to come. I'm going to cut it off here. This is about the length that I'm looking to start doing more stuff, this and shorter. So yeah, if you have ideas for shows, please send them to me. Until next time, guys, You can find me on Twitter at Sci_Fictionary, or for our Star Wars channel at Crew_Podcast. That's CRU_podcast. Please, please, please go give us a follow there. Like and subscribe here on YouTube. Liking those videos, hitting that subscribe button, whether it's me or anyone else, your favorite YouTubers out there, doesn't matter how big or small they are, there is nothing you can do that helps them more than by clicking those two buttons. So please click that like and subscribe button. Until next time, guys, may the Force be with you.
This podcast is a member of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts and content creators, visit bio.link/Red5.